So Chicago was the center for the birth of Black gospel music until 1946. You know what happened in 1946? A Black minister migrated there from Mississippi named Clarence LaVaughn Franklin, the daddy of Aretha Franklin.
Hi everyone, my name is Tasha Robertson. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Root. I'm here today to talk to Dr. Henry Louis Gates of Harvard about his new 4-hour series, Gospel.
Gospel music is soul. Gospel music is R&B. Gospel music is funk. Gospel music is the full spectrum in terms of its sound of Black music.
So let's talk about gospel.
Gospel music was around in the 19th century, practiced by white people. In fact, the first queen of gospel music was a white woman named Fanny Crosby, who was blind and who wrote Blessed Assurance. But Black gospel was invented in the 1920s, primarily by Thomas A. Dorsey. And gospel was invented in part because of the Great Migration. Dorsey was a blues singer named Georgia Tom, and he migrated in 1916 to Chicago. In 1921, he had a religious conversion at the National Baptist Convention. But he was a blues musician, and he was a composer. So all he did was change the subject matter of what he was composing. He was still using those blues licks and jazz rhythms. And the preachers hated it. They said, man, this is the devil's music. But he kept on. Then in 1926, the second major thing happened, which was Mahalia Jackson migrated to Chicago from New Orleans. And in 1927, they hooked up, and that's like a nuclear reaction going on. And I call them the double helix of Black gospel. And they reinvented a whole genre of Black sacred music. And the two of them are responsible for this revolutionary new form of Black sacred music that we love so much. And in 1947, Mahalia records Move On Up a Little Higher, sells 2 million copies, and that launched the golden age of gospel. So Chicago was the center for the birth of Black gospel music until 1946. You know what happened in 1946? A Black minister migrated there from Mississippi named Clarence LaVaughn Franklin, Reverend C.L. Franklin, the daddy of Aretha Franklin. And he's called the man with the $1 million voice, but he also was the man with the $1 million checkbook because he was a born entrepreneur. And he started having Sunday night sermons, and which were packed because he was a hooper. And hoopers are preachers who could combine the spoken word with music. And he went to this Black guy owned a record store. Mm-hmm. And he went to him and he said, I want you to record my Sunday night sermons and we'll sell them. He recorded over 100 albums of C.L. Franklin preaching. The final thing Franklin did that was a sign of his genius was in 1960, he hired James Cleveland as his choir master. And James Cleveland, of course, is known as the crown prince of gospel. We trace every controversy, every shift in the way gospel sounded. And every time there was a new cultural innovation, people got kicked out of the church. In 1967, Oh Happy Day, which is by the Edwin Hawkins Singers, one of my favorite songs, they got kicked out of the church.
What?
Yeah.
See, I think of that song as such a religious gospel, but happy song.
They were cavorting with the devil. Thomas A. Dorsey and Mahalia, devil music. Kirk Franklin, devil music. Edwin Hawkins singer, devil music. But you know what? Those preachers, once they see how popular the music is, they go, well, maybe not so devil music after all.